Section 5. Intentional Group Conversations. When difference in language is a barrier to communication and there aren't enough translators, it may be impossible to engage in many intentional one-to-one conversations. In this case, the intentional group conversations can be an effective way to deepen relationships and build community. In intentional group conversations, small groups of people, which include at least one member of each community, share responses to posed questions which allow for a more in-depth conversation in a fairly short amount of time. Just as with the intentional one-to-one conversations, in the intentional group conversations, the following elements must be attended to. An atmosphere of joy, trust, and safety must be established and maintained, where each side can share their joys, hopes, pains, struggles, and values. This is created through respect, affirmation, and active listening. People are invited to give the best of themselves. The people involved create the frame for the conversation. Leaders of the group can work this out together ahead of time, receiving input from the groups themselves, or it can be decided at the beginning of the sharing. At the outset, people name what they are hoping for in the time together. Mutuality in the relationship is a top priority. That is, responses from both sides of the partnership are equally shared and valued. All people's voices are heard and respected equally. People are respected for where they are at. Open-ended questions are used, not set up for yes or no responses. Small groups are used as needed to ensure all feel their responses are heard and valued. Space is created to celebrate who the partners are to each other. Space is created for people to name where they might need to change. Where appropriate, use of themes, drawing from scripture readings, other readings, and poetry can be very helpful. At appropriate times, use of right brain exercises may be used to create a relaxed and positive atmosphere, art, song, dance, etc. Recording key points on newsprint is helpful to capture key points and keep the conversation focused and in front of everyone. When possible, a prepared and competent neutral facilitator is used. The facilitator needs to know his or her own perspective/bias and be able to detach him or herself from imposing that bias. Intentional group conversations will vary depending on the goal or intent. A few people from each community can come together to elucidate the goals and then develop the questions to be asked, depending on the agreed upon goals. As with intentional one-to-one conversations, a key overarching goal is always to deepen connection and understanding of people of the other community, possibly including learning the why behind the observations and comments. Moreover, intentional conversations ought not to be just about learning data about other communities, but sharing joys and pains, hopes and struggles, hearts and lives. An outline of what an intentional group conversation might look like appears in the accompanying handout. Please take the time now to read through the example in the handout. You have read through an example of an intentional group conversation. As in the one-to-one conversations, these conversations can lead to certain concerns being addressed in a way that invites all in the communities to participate and that draws upon all local talents and capacities. As the partnering communities come to know each other more deeply, moving to a deeper knowledge of, love for, and commitment towards each other, people may have their eyes open to new and challenging realities. This may mean recognizing that our old worldviews are inadequate for holding these new realities. It may require a change of understanding and perhaps a change in new patterns of living. This can be a vulnerable time and will take a great deal of attention and sensitivity to how people are feeling. and giving them space and opportunities for journaling or person-to-person sharing to work through these feelings and insights. Questions for reflection. What do you think about the idea of using this process as a way to deepen relationships and understanding in your short-term mission trips and mission partnerships? In what ways does it sound exciting to implement? What about it would be difficult to implement? What are some questions you would like to pursue openly and in a group setting with those to whom you go?